Welcome to the final day of our U-Haul road trip, day 4. After 3 long days on the highway and more than 2,000 miles rolling beneath our wheels, this is it, the last stretch of an unforgettable journey. Today, we leave Billings, Montana and head north across the wide open prairies and rolling hills of the northern plains, through the Coots Sweetgrass border crossing and into Canada. Our destination, Calgary, Alberta, where the prairies meet the Rockies and where this 4-day odyssey finally comes to an end. This isn't just another travel day. It's a culmination of a continent-spanning drive. 4 days, 12 states, and nearly 2,500 miles, and countless stories collected along the way. From the Gulf Coast of Florida, through the heartland, over rivers, past prairies, into the shadow of the Black Hills and Montana ranges, we've watched America change mile by mile out the windshield. Now, with the finish line finally in sight, there's a mix of anticipation and reflection. The road ahead may be shorter, but it still holds its own kind of beauty. Vast landscape, border crossings, and the feeling of moving not just across miles, but across borders, cultures, and histories. And so, the last chapter begins. Join us as we trace the final leg of this road trip north, through the big skies of Montana, across the invisible line into Canada, and onward to Calgary, where this journey finds its closing scene. Montana truly lives up to its nickname, Big Sky Country. As we rolled north, the land seemed to stretch on forever, a patchwork of valleys, open prairie, and the distant ridge lines. The horizon felt impossibly far away, framed by gentle rolling hills that gave way to the faintless silhouettes of mountains. Out here, the sky isn't just above you, it surrounds you. A pale blue dome so vast it makes you feel small in the best possible way. The highway seemed endless, unspooling straight ahead with little traffic besides the occasional trucker hauling freight or an RV bound for the mountains. That quiet isolation gave the drive its rhythm. Miles of golden fields swaying in the breeze, broken now and then by the stands of pine, weathered barns, or the glint of a creek winding through the prairies. The clouds above drifting lazily, casting long, slow-moving shadows across the land, as if the earth itself was breathing. After hours on the open road, the skyline of Great Falls began to appear on the horizon. Sitting on the edge of the Missouri River, known as the Electric City, Great Falls earned its name in the late 1800s when the power of the river's waterfalls was harnessed to generate hydroelectricity, fueling Montana's growth and industry. Long before that, this was a place of exploration. In 1805, Lewis and Clark came through here on their westward expedition, facing one of the toughest challenges of their journey, portaging nearly 18 miles around a series of 5 great waterfalls on the Missouri. Standing here today, it's easy to imagine what they must have seen, untamed river cascades set against the vast plains. Driving through Great Falls, you sense that history and landscape are inseparable. The city is both a modern hub and a reminder of the river that shaped it. For us, it was a brief stop on the way north, but it carried the feeling of transition, a marker that we were leaving the central plains behind and drawing closer to the Rockies, to the border, and to the final leg of our journey. As the miles ticked by, the wide open plains of northern Montana slowly began to change. The gentle rise of rolling hills hinted at the Rockies beyond, their distant silhouettes barely visible under the hazy horizon. The highway stretched endlessly north, quiet and almost meditative, with only the occasional truck or car reminding us we weren't alone out here. Every passing mile carried a weight of anticipation. We were nearing the end of the United States, with Canada just ahead. Soon, the road signs began to confirm it. Coots, Alberta, and Sweetgrass, Montana. The words themselves carried a sense of arrival, signaling that the border was close. After 3 full days of navigating U.S. interstates, small towns, and long, lonely stretches of highway, this wasn't just another checkpoint. It felt like a milestone, a symbolic gateway into the final chapter of the journey. Before we could cross, there was one important step left to handle. At the Sweetgrass Rest area, we met the owner of the belongings in the U-Haul. By law, she needed to be the one to drive the truck across the border to avoid any complications with customs. So we pulled over, went over the details, and made the switch. She climbed into the driver's seat of the U-Haul, while we followed behind with her partner in their vehicle to make the crossing together. The line of cars moved slowly towards the booths, a mix of anticipation and nerves in the air. As we rolled past the American flag on one side and towards the Canadian maple leaf ahead, the moment hit us. This was the threshold, the dividing line between the two countries and the culmination of more than 2,400 miles of road behind us. Once safely through, we regrouped on the north side of the border. With the formalities behind us, we switched back, me behind the wheel of the U-Haul once again, pointing it towards Calgary for the last stretch. Crossing into Alberta wasn't just a change of scenery, it was a turning point. After 12 states, countless towns, and thousands of miles, the final destination was finally within reach. Crossing into Alberta felt like a true turning point on our journey. As the border gates faded behind us, the landscape immediately took on a new character. The Montana plains gave way to rolling stretches of ranch land dotted with cattle and windbreaks of poplar trees. The air seemed fresher, cooler, and lighter, as if stepping across the line had shifted more than just the country we were in. Roadside signs now counted kilometers instead of miles, a subtle reminder that we were back in Canada. Highway 4 carried us north from Coots, the road running straight and wide through southern Alberta's prairie heartland. The first town of note was Milk River, named for the nearby river that flows all the way into Montana before joining the Missouri River. It's a small community, but a gateway for travelers. Grain elevators rise against the horizon, a prairie landmark that feels both timeless and distinctly Canadian. A little farther along, we rolled into Lethbridge, the largest city in southern Alberta. Once a coal mining hub, today it's a vibrant mix of agriculture, industry, and education, home of the University of Lethbridge. Driving past, the most striking feature is the high-level bridge, a massive steel trestle viaduct spanning the Oldman River Valley. Built in 1909, it's still the longest and tallest structure of its kind in the world, and it dominates the skyline, an engineering marvel set against sweeping prairie hills. After Lethbridge, we detoured around Fort Macleod to join Highway 2 at Grantham. Highway 2 is the major corridor connecting southern Alberta to Calgary. The kilometers ticked by as we passed through Claresholm, a town with deep ties to the aviation history thanks to its World War II era training base, now preserved as part of the local museum. A little farther, Nanton came into view, famous for its vintage grain elevators, the twin sentinels that stand as proud reminders of prairie life, and for the Bomber Command Museum of Canada, which houses a restored Lancaster bomber. Every town felt like a waypoint, each with its own story, while the land between remained open and vast, prairie fields stretching the horizon, the Rockies growing clearer and sharper in the west as we drove. Finally, as the kilometers dwindled, the outskirts of Calgary began to rise from the plains. At first, it was just highway interchanges and distant subdivisions, but soon the downtown skyline appeared, glass towers shimmering under the late day sun with jagged peaks of the Rockies standing guard to the west. After 4 long days on the road, crossing 12 states and covering more than 2,400 miles, we finally rolled into Calgary. The city skyline stretched out before us, with the towering peaks of the Rockies to the west, a dramatic welcome to Alberta. The U-Haul had made it in one piece, every mile a testament to steady driving, careful planning, and a bit of endurance. Stepping out of the truck, the crisp mountain air felt like a reward after days of highways, small towns, and wide open landscapes. This has been one of the biggest road trips we've ever undertaken. Part move, part adventure, and entirely unforgettable. From the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida, through the rolling hills of the Midwest, across the vast plains of South Dakota and Montana, and finally into the stunning landscapes of Alberta. Every mile brought new sights, experiences, and memories. Thanks for coming along with us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed riding shotgun on our cross-country adventure, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more road trip content, and click the bell so you never miss our next adventure. Share your own epic road trip stories in the comments. We'd love to hear where the road has taken you.